So we will close the hearing for 163 South Street.
Thank you. Be safe out there on Friday. You never know what it's gonna bring.
Shh.
It'll blow out to sea. We'll blame the weatherman.
Have a good day. Thank you very much.
They've been
Thank
cussing
you.
using that S word.
We do not, I'm assuming, have any more department updates, correct?
Right,
Okay, then we'll move on to the town administrator report.
okay. Like I've been doing for the past few meetings, I'll just pick a couple of, a sampling of the items on the list. First of all, budget kickoff meetings for FY21 are scheduled for Tuesday, November 12th at 10 a.m. That's going to be primarily for departments. That's actually going to happen inside a department head's monthly meeting, but others are welcome to attend. And then the second one will be on Thursday evening, November 14th at 7 p.m., primarily for boards and committees. Board and committee representatives, whether chair or otherwise, can attend. We're not going to worry, I wouldn't worry about a quorum attending. It's good that everyone hear the information. This really is an informational session with no action required by boards and committees, so everyone's welcome to attend.
Where is that, Margaret?
It's going to
Downstairs?
be down the hall, right
Okay.
here, yes.
218 or whatever it is?
I think we're going to do it
Or
in,
that way?
it's either 218 or we're going to do it in the hearing room. I just
Okay.
haven't. The department heads meeting is always in 218, so we'll have that one in 218. The evening meeting might be in the hearing room if it's available. Okay. The Ag Commission Community Garden Electrical Upgrades, that service agreement has been executed with Montero Electric for $3,435. That is for this particular phase of the project to install electrical equipment in and around the garden shed. Laying the conduit is going to come after this piece of the work is done, and we're going to procure that separately. Lisa, Assessor Molly Reed, and I had a kickoff phone call with Beth Greenblatt, the town's solar consultant on the solar pilot negotiations the other day. I think it went pretty well. We have a path forward. Beth is going to serve as our owner's agent consultant, so she is going to do the heavy lifting with getting negotiations in order and trying to make sure the town has the best economic benefit possible. And we are continuing, Chair Keefe and I are continuing on our recreational marijuana host community agreement negotiations. They are moving slowly, but we want to assure consistency between the contracts. So that's taking a little work and effort to make sure that we have some consistency between all of them. And I want to congratulate the town. Lisa has received a cybersecurity training grant for the town of Berlin. I don't have any details on this yet, but I'd love for you to fill us in. Through the chair,
Sure.
we did.
I believe basically we get software that will help us to train our employees so that they can be better at spotting things like phishing and things that can get us into trouble from a cybersecurity standpoint.
So they'll deliver software.
I believe it's a
Like
software
bullying,
package.
cyberbullying, all that.
No.
It's more
Yeah,
like
more
scams
like
trying
scams.
to take money. So, yeah, so that was really good news to hear. We did submit our Safe Routes to School Signs and Lines grant application last week, and fingers crossed, we'll maybe be one of the few lucky municipalities that receive some grant funding from that. So that's all I have for today. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I have, and I won't throw any more things in later, but the board has for your review a memo that I've prepared to go with the budget packet for FY21. It's just an overview of the fiscal year 21 budget process, and it backs up the accountant's instructions for submission of budget requests, and it backs up the finance committee's expectations on the budget submissions. So If board members have any feedback, comments, we have a few days before I need to finalize this, so feel free to reach out to me. Also attached is the draft budget calendar.
And a happy Veterans Day.
I added that, yes, because the board won't be meeting until after Veterans Day, so I wanted to give a shout out to all our men and women who serve this country and who have served this country.
Okay. We're moving on to old business. Licensing rules and regulations.
Please give me here.
This is a second read, I believe.
Yes, I don't have any further edits
Okay.
that I recommend at this point. I haven't received any feedback from the board, so I would recommend that these be adopted as they are. Now, this would be applicable to all license renewals in the coming year. What I ask is that these are informational and should be distributed with all renewed licenses, all the new licenses that are going to be coming up in 2019. I mean 2020. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Got me excited. I thought it was a year younger, Margaret. Jeez, you ruined that.
So are there any comments, further comments from the board, or do I hear a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay. Hearing nothing else, then I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alrighty. Next, we're moving on to the protective covenant and waiver of town's right of first refusal.
Through the board chair, this is one that goes back a number of months. This was a supplemental piece of land added to the larger piece of land for the solar array on Randall Road. We did receive an email back from Conservation Commission today that the protective covenant is all set. But this waiver of first refusal is still outstanding, and I think that the solar developer would like to have this to wrap it up, to file it and get it out of the way.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Madam Clerk, I'll be down there later to collect the pile.
Absolutely, I'm making them nice and neat for you, so you're all good.
All right. So I guess this is the next item is to fill in the public that the offer letter for Richard Hanks as building commissioner, who will start on 11/12 of 2019, has been signed. And is there anything further you want to add, Margaret?
I would ask that the board re-vote in open session, because the open meeting law we found the open meeting law for non-union employment contracts, the vote should be taken in open session. So if the board wants to restate its vote on this, I would appreciate that.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the offer letter for Richard?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And also the contract amendment and extension for the interim fire EMS chief, Ken Clark.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, and the HR Community Compact Supplemental Funding Grant Contract.
Yes, so the town did receive $5,000 in supplemental funding for the HR consulting work for updating personnel policies and procedures and developing a classification and compensation plan. I do think we are going to get responses over this next week. We did kind of cast a wide net for quotes to be submitted, and I did hear from a consultant today, and I've heard from another, so hopefully we receive at least one quote from qualified consultants. So this is for the board. The board needs to sign the contract documents or authorize the chair to do that.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And is that the contract, Margaret, or I think I have one
No,
here?
let's do it right afterwards, because there's a couple of places, okay?
Okay. Sounds good. All right, moving on to new business. We had a request from Interstate Theaters Corporation, Regal Cinema, or Regal Solomon Pond Stadium 15, for a change of corporate officer / director.
This is a paperwork transaction. No hearing is required on this type of change, so we have the entire packet of documentation, and I would request that the board vote to sign this paperwork.
Motion to sign.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that just the one place on the big stack?
I think that is
One
it.
place.
One place.
Just the
The
front
yellow
page.
sticky. I think maybe I'm supposed to.
There's room for all of us.
Oh, okay. Well, let me look at it.
No, all three.
All of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a re-sign. 2 more originals.
Oh, no, you just need to do one. One's good.
One signature?
One for each of you on that one piece of paper.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We will.
Adding to Margaret's pile.
All right. We have the Personnel Committee's recommendation for FY21, the COLA. Come on down.
Come on down. You are the next contestant on sit at the selectment table.
No, you have to
You have to sit here. No, you have to sit here.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the camera can catch
I'm
up.
sorry. It's been a year already.
Has it really?
Can't believe it. This was our first
Was it better this
task
year?
last year.
Or no?
Was it
still
better?
bad?
It is. I feel like Margaret's
your-
it's been wonderful having somebody helping us, along in terms of the things that we need to do and everything, so.
Well, there was a lot to do. I mean, there was a huge gap
Yeah.
between the old one and the new one, so
Right.
thank you. Thank
And-
you.
And Sue's been helping out tremendously. Tom, and he couldn't come tonight, so
Tom in
I
absentia.
think he's still working. So anyway, we use the same process this year for our COLA as we did last year. And that is looking through the consumer price indexes for different areas of New England. We used the Boston, Boston, Cambridge, Newton, and that this year was at 1.1%, which was really low. Last year, the same year, the same time last year, that same consumer price index was 3.3. So this year it's 1.1. This year, the Worcester Consumer Price Index, as a city in the Northeast region with 2.5 million or less people, is 1.4%. And then we also looked at what some of the other towns in the municipality and the state are doing, and it runs the gamut. There's some folks that are doing 1%, there's some people that are doing 1.5 and adding another 1% on the day before the end of the fiscal year. So it kind of ran the gamut. We ran it by the committee, and we looked at all the information that we had, and we're making a recommendation that that we give a 1.5 cost of living adjustment this year. There are some other things, though, we want to bring out with that, because that, the 1.5 would be added to our position classification sheets, and I can hand those out if folks, sorry, I should have given
have
that
it.
out.
I think we have.
Oh, you do have them, okay, thank you.
I think I got one.
So,
I didn't get,
we did perform a
We can share.
compensation analysis on
Oh,
all
the one-
positions last year. So we're feeling pretty confident. There may be a few here and there that are requested through the performance evaluation process that we're happy to go over and everything. But right now, I think we look pretty good in terms of the processes we've used in the market that people have. We also have the HR consultant coming in to do a classification study for us, which kind of helps us out a little bit because it takes it out of our hands and it lets somebody else come in and take a look at the way we're doing things. How should our compensation system run and everything. So we were very happy about that. We're also going to re-propose. Last year, we had made some recommendations to the Board of Selectmen, Select Board, and you had approved it. And we gave it to the accountant, but somehow, some way, the Finance Committee did not approve those changes. So we're going to try and re-propose them again this year to make sure that, because some of them had to do with market, and they had to do with keeping people in sync with what their peers are making in the other towns. So we're going to re-propose that, and we will absolutely continue to look at the positions as we go along. One position that we missed on the position classification sheet was the veterans agent, and we really do want to look that up and see where it should go on the grid. Right now, it's in a grade 1, but we'd like to make sure that we're compensating properly for that position.
yeah, we
Any
brought
questions?
him up to minimum wage because he was very much below, correct?
Oh, he was ridiculously underpaid.
Yeah.
Plus, don't forget, we have, as of January 1st, we have a minimum wage increase
Right.
from $12 to $12.75 an hour, and we have and that's included, that's why there's 2 position classification spreadsheets. We also have another minimum wage increase on 1/1/21 of going from $12.75 to $13.50 an hour. So that's why there's 2 sets of spreadsheets instead of just one. We wanted to make sure we incorporated that into it.
And that was, I assume, incorporated into the budget, the
Yes.
increase?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions for Claire and Sue?
Thank you, I know it's not easy.
Do we need to take a vote on this?
I think to approve the recommendation, I
Yeah.
think that would be a good idea.
Motion
Okay.
to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Step 1. Do you need this back, Claire?
No, that's not.
All right. Board questions and comments?
No, I'm done. I got nothing this week.
Already talked about.
All right.
I might have one more before I go.
Well, I think you're going to have to do it offline.
Okay,
Why don't we do it offline?
okay.
And we do have a need for a quick executive session to approve meeting minutes. This would be Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, for the October 28th. I'm assuming, Mary, we're You've got them, right?
One sec.
The minutes are?
Yes, I have them.
Okay. And we will return to open, no, we won't.
Turn to adjourn.
We're only going to return to open session to adjourn.
Vote.
Roll call.
Keefe,
What's that, yeah?
Keefe, aye.
Stone eye.